Welcome. Hey, girl. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so glad that you can make some time in your busy mommy and wife schedule to be with me today. Your glow up is real. Okay, let me
It
just say,
is. It
no, it
is.
really is. It is so inspiring, Jules. And I haven't been able to tap in with you since you had the baby. I just got to go straight there because you have been experiencing blessings beyond blessings. And I just appreciate that you utilize social media so we can kind of see a little bit behind the curtain as you're experiencing this. But tell us how motherhood is growing and glowing on you.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm really grateful and appreciative that I have such a good baby. So if you guys don't remember, I had my first son. His name is Cairo Joseph Norman. He was born on Christmas Day, so he's my little Christmas miracle. And he just turned 5 months last week. So he's just a ball of joy. I mean, it's really everything else that I don't want to do, but always want to be his mom. I want to be his best friend. I want to snuggle with him. I want to see all the new things that he's into. Today, I was feeding him, so he's starting to get into like soft foods and things like that. So he's just a little bundle of joy. I mean, he's just such a blessing. He's beautiful. He's funny. He's like meeting all of his milestones. So he's such a blessing. I'm excited to just keep watching him grow up.
Absolutely. And I'm a love on baby Cairo because his birthday is 2 days before mine. So this Capricorn auntie energy, I cannot wait to come to DC and hold that baby because it is so beautiful when we have new life joining and expanding our families. And your family has just been in a complete glow up. I mean, from
Oh
Rodney
yeah.
and then the baby. You've just been doing it all, Jules.
Listen, today is my baby girl's 16th birthday. So my bonus baby, it's her 16th birthday. So we're going to be driving down this weekend to be celebrating her 16th birthday with her mom and her stepfather and all her friends down in North Carolina. So I'm really excited to see this whole girl, we've been putting it together, honey. So I'm excited. So I am just so blessed to just have such a beautiful family. And it
Yeah.
really came accelerated, like I continuously share with you guys, my, and remain transparent about my story. Rodney finally coming home from after a 5 year um, prison sentence, and then the kids moving back in with us, and then us having our own. I'm back in office now. I'm trying to like balance all of these things, and it's just, I sit back and really think like, wow, I'm really blessed. Like everything I asked for, I have it. And I also have it in abundance. So I'm just in a season of gratitude for real. And really in a season of being like a student and like learning how to do all of these things. Like, how do I be, a wife and a mother and a businesswoman and an entrepreneur and all of these things for everybody and still have time to take care of myself and still be me and still be Jules, which is why like I show up and do clapback culture because it's like my little thing. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited for you, sis. Honestly, you and I have had those deep conversations, and to see all of this for me, I just was overjoyed, honestly. But
Yeah,
as you said, I mean, you're still staying connected to these stories out here in these streets. I
that
don't know how you do it all, but clearly, clapback culture has come back with a bang, and we got to give you some time to talk about some of the things that folks may expect this week because I've been hearing you have been on fire since you came back with these topics, and we already know the world is going through so many different things. You're here to keep us all on track. What can folks
yeah.
expect this week?
Well, this week, listen, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a variety. So I know we're coming into the summer months, and with coming into the summer months, we are doing much more traveling. And for whatever reason, Trey, there are people on these airlines acting a fool. Okay. So, and it's not just here in the United States, it's everywhere. So I have a story from Seoul, South Korea, and there was a man that opened the emergency door of Asiana Airlines just before the plane was landing. So the plane was just 700 feet above ground. And it was only 2 to 3 minutes before it got to landing. And Trey, catch this. The reason why he said he did this is because, he had lost his job and he just felt really anxious and he just was suffocated and he wanted to hurry up and get out of this plane. So he opened the emergency side door. There's a huge video. And of course, I'm going to share that with everybody that tunes into clapback culture. But there was over 200 people on this flight. So you can imagine the panic. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. There are 12 reported minor injuries of some folks who hyperventilated and were treated at neighborhood hospitals for that. The man who opened the door also was uninjured, but taken to a mental health facility to get immediately checked out. But yeah, he said that he was just under a lot of stress. But golly, I mean, it's getting crazy on these airlines.
Oh my goodness. These little clips that we are seeing through social media and different things, because people will pull their phone out in a minute. I
Won't
think
they?
there's a lot of, more awareness, maybe particularly after 9/11, honestly, because people are just like, yo, I'm on this plane. This is my life. You know what I mean? Like, let me be more mindful of my surroundings, like what folks are doing. You're seeing a lot of that now. So I can't even imagine what people were thinking as he opened this emergency hatch. I am
Yeah.
grateful that he is getting the help he needs, because that is something that's it's like, clearly, where are you thinking in that moment? There's probably so much other things going on. Glad nobody was injured in that one, Jules, but I'm also glad you'll be covering it on Clapback this week. What else can folks tap into with you?
Well, since we're on the topic of mental health, if you guys know Raz B, one of our fan favorites from the former group B2K, if you grew up in the 2000s like me, well, Raz B is back into the scene and he's on a 72-hour hold after threatening to jump off of a hotel roof. This comes after his really a rant, a rage, and kind of like this dismantling of an Instagram live that he did, and he's just talking about his feelings. He's telling everyone that he's at a hotel in Kansas City, and he just keeps repeating, "I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Somebody come take me. I need to check into a facility." And so he goes back into the hotel. He somehow gets on top of the roof. He breaks a window to get on top of the roof, and he's threatening to jump. And so officials came, they laid out these blowout mats to just in case if he jumped off the roof. And then he was taken into an area hospital. So all of this spiraled following his reporting on his Instagram live, where he said that Chris Stokes did not sexually assault him back in the day. So many things are coming out. And if you don't know Trae, Rasby is also on a reality television show right now. He's on Bad Boys Club West, I believe it is. And so it's a lot of interesting dichotomies going on in one thing, but we're going to pray for Rasby. His condition is really unsettling at this time. People are concerned about his condition, but his team has not really expressed to the media exactly what's going on. And so we're going to keep him lifted. We're going to keep him prayed up, but check in with your people, man, because he really, really, really is unraveling right before our eyes.
I mean, well, Jules, honestly, you're mentioning this, and just yesterday, Raul Neferman the first was on the Day with Trey with me, and he was talking about the need for us to go within and to activate, these faculties within us that allow us to have health, wealth, and success. And the first thing is health, right? There's so much that we can be doing to bring back, practices that have really worked for ancient civilizations that give us the guidance we need. So as you're talking, that's where my heart is going, because I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, I mean, now we have access. A lot of churches are now online. They're trying to connect. I mean, in the COVID pandemic, all of us were trying to make adjustments, and people really miss that socialization of collective
Mhm.
healing and wellness that we got in so many of our institutions. And it's one of those things where it's always going to be like a journey that you have to go on, but when you have folks around you that get to be on that walk and that journey with you, you're more empowered to stay on that journey. So as you said, we'll be making sure our thoughts and prayers and all of our positive energy goes to him right now as he's dealing with that. You never know all of the things that could be coming into play. So I love that you're tapping into this. One last thing for the folks. I know we don't want to give it all to them. One
That's
last thing
okay.
that's going on this week.
Well, I always love how balanced you are. So, shout out to everybody who watches The Day with Trey. You're so balanced and like you're so healing. You always have such good healing positive energy. So I know I'm going to keep taking that into my weekend. Um this is a report that we should not be reporting on, and it's why, I am so critical of not only law enforcement, but holding them accountable. There is an 11-year-old boy out of Mississippi who called the police due to a domestic dispute at his home. His mother gave him a phone and said, call 911. The incident occurred at his home with his mother and his sister's father. So another child in the house. So the mom said, call 911. The mother comes to the door to allow police to enter into the home, and she tells the officer, listen, nobody in this home is armed. The officer gives everybody instructions. Everyone come out with your hands up if I cannot see you in plain sight. Her son, Adrian Murray, he's 11 years old. He looks like an 11-year-old child. He's not, he's 4'10". He comes out with his hands up, and for whatever reasons unclear to us right now, the officer shot him in the chest. The mother goes on to say that the last words of her son, who did survive Trey, but the last words in that incident were, why did you shoot me? What did I do wrong? And he just, of course, collapsed. The young boy suffered injuries to the chest, a collapsed lung, and a fractured rib, and a lacerated liver. He was placed on a ventilator. We don't know his condition at this time, but of course the family are fighting for justice in this case, and they're fighting for the Mississippi police, the Indianola, that's the city he was in, the Indianola Board of Aldermen, to not only just continue to place him on leave, but to fire this officer and look further into this incident. Of course, the police body camera footage has not been released, but that's not because the family has not been asking. They have been asking. And so one thing that we know about that, Trey, is that if authorities have not released a video right now, then it's something that is not so good on their side. So they're trying to figure out tactically how to let this out. This is not a case of, a 6'4" boy, who is 11 but is actually looking like a grown man, is coming out into the view of an officer. So there was no way that the officer could have gotten him confused with the person of interest upon coming into the house. So the officer is on administrative leave. If it's important for anybody to know, everyone involved in this incident is Black. So I would argue that it's not a race issue, but it's officers being trigger happy, right? And so we have to think about tactics to de-escalate before we begin to shoot. So I can't wait to see what happens in this case as more information unfolds.
Wow, Jules. I mean, once again, here we have another example of why the trust of police coming into homes, specifically of those of the global majority, is a constant issue. It is always something that so many of us that are non-white folks, honestly, we deal with a different type of call to the police. I mean, this is insane, but yet it's also unfortunate that we have to even explain that he didn't look like a grown man, because maybe that in people's minds makes it seem as though, well, he thought maybe something was going to happen with a grown man. But
Right.
even that in and of itself is where we've been, like, in a sense, we've been trained to now see it that way, because
Yeah, that's true.
so many incidences have taken place right before our very eyes in the media. We've experienced this in our neighborhoods, in our communities. We know people who know people, or it's our families. It's incredible how much data there is now on this across the nation with regard to to these kinds of shootings from the police
Yeah.
into families of the global majority. And
Yeah.
I mean, Jules, you're right. Even if he was 6'4", but he came out with his hands up, what then? Right? And
Put
so,
the words on my
um, yeah, I mean, we've seen this time and time again. I'm glad you're on it, Jules. I'm glad that you are back and bringing us clapback culture. We missed you. This is so needed in our ethosphere here at Converge. Thank you for staying on top of these amazing stories. Of course, if folks are looking to tap in with you to watch Clapback, how do they stay engaged, Jules?
Yeah, so I'll be on Thursday night, 7 p.m. if you're on the West Coast, 10 p.m. if you're here on the East Coast like me. Pull up, follow me at Treasure of Jules. Let me know what you want to talk about next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Jules, such a pleasure. Congratulations again to all that you have going on in your world. You, my sister, for real. I can't wait to keep on tapping in with you. If you can't tap in live, don't worry. Send us a clip. We want to keep on promoting what you got
Oh,
going. Much,
absolutely.
yes, much
Thank
love to
you.
you, Jules. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure when I got my girl Jules in the building. Of course, y'all make sure you tune in